take the time out to say a special good morning to one and all, especially our listeners and viewers. Good morning to you. Hope all is well. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning outdoors. And for me, I think it's just a lovely morning. I'm not sure for everyone else. Let's say good morning to those of you out there, of course, in the diaspora who are listening and viewing, of course, GB, and also if you via the Facebook page, YouTube channels, good morning to you. Hope you're having an awesome morning. Those of you who are driving along our nation's roads, I beg of you to drive along with that due care and attention. Of course, especially those road users, especially those who are walking along the roads. Of course, look out. Of course, be careful, I should say. Be careful. Be very careful. Hey, folks, we're going to have an open line edition of To The Point for today. I'll have no one representing on the government side of things for today, Wednesday. Have no one representing this morning, so which leads us to an open line. 435-2041, 435-2041. We should be having, of course, a little bit above average temperatures on the outdoors today, so I have you with the appropriate clothing and so forth. If it's, of course, not necessary for you to be on the outdoors, so you could avoid that. All right. Yesterday was what yesterday felt like, and it should be almost similar conditions today. All right. It's gonna be hot. We say in medium terms, it's gonna be hot today. So I beg of you, my kind of temperature sometimes. All right. So I beg of you to, of course, do what's necessary to keep yourself, of course, from the exposure of that heat out there. So once again, it's an open line edition, 435-2041. Your phone calls are welcome via the WhatsApp or the direct line, 435-2041. Those are the numbers you can use to calling and be part of today's program. I beg of you, when you're making your contributions, make sure whatever device in the background is totally turned off when you decide to call into the station. When you're through, you can certainly put it back up, and as long as you, of course, would be able to entertain it at that level. Also, I beg of you to keep your contribution as brief as possible so we can have as many callers as possible. All right, let's go to the phone line. Our first caller. Caller, you're welcome. Good morning.
Yeah, morning, GT, and morning to your listeners.
Good morning to you, sir.
Sometimes I try to restrain myself from even calling because, some of the things I say aggravate some people because I don't think we are radically honest. Sometimes I hear on this medium, and by the way, this is the only medium I listen to, except maybe when it comes from news, I may tune into one other entity. But I hear people saying things, coming on and saying things which are not factual. Mm-hmm. Something was said this morning about the role of the Calypso King. When Black Wizard, refused to accept the crown when he won, and it was said that he said he didn't want a cardboard crown. It was after a conversation, in fact he told me that, after a conversation we had, when I said to him, what's the purpose of the crown? And the crown should give you access to certain things, like, for instance, functions, national functions, also opportunity to go to schools and that kind of thing. When he did that as a protest, people condemn him. But the other thing about it is that we sing, praise to certain people, as an individual, but he's not the only one. And I don't want to blow my trumpet. The fact that we had the Melody Papitet semi-final, it was because after Wilfred Melody Baptiste died, an organization I was leading out of Victoria decided, in order to memorize Melody, we start having seminars. Which people like Black Wizard, Flying Cloud, and so on came and supported and helped the young people. We had a cooperation even with Eddie, where some of the children from the western side came down to Pomeroy sometimes to practice. There's some things. In fact, even before that, and he said that all the time internationally, that the first time he did a workshop was in Victoria. We call it the Top Calypso Forum. That's where the interest of young Calypsonians started. I mean, before that, the St. Mark's or that region, except maybe St. John's, didn't have much interest in Calypso. So we tend to mix up things. The other thing about that, Calypso rose to a level, and Ajama and all of those could identify that in 1986, from 1985 thereabouts, when Hugh Dolan was the chairman of the Carnival Development Committee, when he brought a certain level of organization to the arrangement of Carnival, it laid the basis for a rise that started plummet after 2001, when certain things would happen and they have division and that kind of stuff. The Calypso, the Grenada Progressive Calypso Association, brought some order. And I played a big role in that, without trying to trumpet the thing. There was effort. The people that say no, let us have one association, they participate in destroying the GPCA. So it's sad that we have to always go backwards. It's like when we praise the Americans for invading Grenada, notwithstanding the conflict we have here. And look, we are 100 years behind now. I could say more, but sometimes I try to not to even have to say anything, but we have to be radically honest. The Calypso thing is not just about a few years time to rise. It was right from the mid-80s. People like Hugh Dolan and others have to take credit, and Trevor Friday, these people and them, lay the basis. And of course, some of us who were in the Calypso Association at the time. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Appreciate your contribution there, and of course, bringing across your point in the manner in which you did. Of course, shared some, of course, awesome memories there also. Great information. Thank you so much for that. 435-2041, 435-2041. We go back to the phone line. Caller, you are live. Good morning. Welcome.
Morning, JT. How are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. How are you this morning?
Great. I just want to give a little message on behalf of the Most Honorable Andy Williams in relation to Carnival. During festive season, example Spice Mass, there's always blatant and wanton abuse of alcohol, where excessive consumption of that mind-altering substance produces highly intoxicated persons, inclusive of but not limited to revelers, masqueraders, and spectators. However, in the midst of fun and frolicking, planning is necessary, and safety is of paramount importance, being consciously mindful that alcohol impairs one's judgment. In this regard, when traveling, it would be wise and advisable that you have a designated sober, alcohol-free driver who does not practice the indulgence of alcohol altogether to take you safely to and from your destination, because that is important, and all these messages are necessarily. Anyway, act responsibly to avoid unnecessary embarrassment or that which incurs serious and severe consequences and repercussions later on regrettable. Spice Mass must not be marred or tainted by lawlessness, ill discipline that we see all the time, behaviors and tragedy. Finally, always stay alert, be aware of your surroundings, exercise extreme caution, and celebrate safely. Do have a crime-free and incident-free, wonderful and enjoyable 2025 Spice Mass. This entire context of this aforementioned message is to all the beautiful people of the residents of the constituency of Self and George, the Great South, convey to you on behalf of the one and only most beloved, the Most Honorable Andy Williams for your parliamentary representative, right? Because it's important. People do all kind of crazy things around a carnival time. alcohol has impaired people's judgment, reckless driving, and when these other people go to fete, you don't have to walk with knife and cutlass and gun. Go with your two long hands. If you want to use cutlass, go and chop down some trees in the land and plant up, fork up the land and plant provision to feed yourself and your family. I am tired of hearing all this amount of drama that's going on, and not only that, I'm hearing also of big people bringing children in big people fete. Right? All you should refrain from doing that. All this all this set of noise could affect the child's eardrum. Stay home with your children. You don't have to go to fete. Children is a responsibility. You hear the police talking about that. I think Mr. Cowan was talking about, Randy Cart was talking about that. These fetes, leave your children at home. The reckless driving, drivers, I don't know where you're all busy going. The alcohol, sex. I'm not telling people to abstain from sex because we are sexual human beings. The sex that make us. So it's all you bound to have sex. But if you have sex, use a condom and be responsible. Carnival time is not a time for lawlessness and just people just letting go themselves. People must be responsible at all times. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day yourself, and appreciate your contribution as always. 435-2041. Don't forget you also have the option of the WhatsApp. 435-2041. It's an open line edition this morning here on today's program. Let's hear from you. Of course, it's Spice Mass 2025. If you want to make a contribution towards in relation to that, also feel free to do so. Let's go back to the phone line. We do have another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. I just want you to ask for me. When people subscribe to look at the carnival shows, pay your money, and you are unable to log in, or sometimes it just cuts off in the middle and cannot get back in, what form of redress exists? And I am directing that both to TNR Communications and to Spice Mass, because there are a number of people, when they tell you you cannot be like paying for it and rebroadcasting it and what have you, okay, but when I subscribe and you take my money, because it is a pay first system whereby my card is charged and it is in US dollars, and I'm sitting there all night trying to log in and I cannot get you, what redress course exists? Because if I come and when I file a complaint, you will ask me, how do you know that I didn't get you, and all this pile of nonsense. And these things can also lead to people wanting to take action into their own hands, because I work hard for my money, I pay you, I can't see anything, I tell you I didn't see, I can't log in, and then you want to use some kind of a technical, stupid kind of a reasoning to ask me, how do you know? How do you know? Is because I am telling you. So we have had a lot of instances like that last weekend and so on. So I think it is important that this be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. And I certainly had the same problem too, and contacted my bank in order to actually get a refund of what happened. And I was actually told the same thing too, that I should speak to the vendor, and calling the vendor and speaking in relation that I was unable to view. And I was given the runaround in relation to that. I just said, well, forgo on it. I didn't bother with it anymore, but I was certainly disappointed myself. And lost approximately $80. Lost approximately $80 and was unable to view anything. Anyway, let's go back to the phone line. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. We lost that caller there. 435-2041. 435-2041. That's the number if you want to be part of today's edition of To The Point, an open line edition. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Hi, good morning, GT. How are you?
Doing good. How are you this morning?
I'm all right. I have two little pieces to speak about this morning. First,
go right ahead,
I want to remind. Hello?
Go right ahead.
I want to remind us as Unitarians, please, I'm begging you all, try and avoid all you getting cut off from now, sir. It's very costly to get connection back. If you now have $50, they have a fee of $250 to pay to get before you get back connection, plus $85. So you know what I'm talking about. And please, I'll try and have storage is very important. You see this little barrel that it will send for us from Canada and America? The people used to pay $50 for one barrel. Now it's $100. When we receive this barrel, you put it in a nice place. Put it when the rain fall, you could get some water, so you're going to ease up some tension on you. So I'm begging you all, please have storage and try your best. Don't get cut off. It's costly. Next point, listen to the judgment that passed down on this man that killed this man on Granham's Road. I think it's Mr. What do you call it, his son. And the judgment that the guy has to maintain the children until 18 years, and that's very good. But at least to myself, I feel they could have give the wife a little maintenance too, even half of what the children getting, because remember, this man used to take care of this woman, and she have no breadwinner now. So I wish they could have given this wife something until she move on. Which she married again, well, you cut it up. Because I find a lot of things, parents and children suffering in this country. Look, this man, the next man killed this man. He had a 1-year-old child and one in the belly. And only NIS was giving this child $100 and something a month. And this man outside, and in mining, he's taking care of his children, and these 4 children have nobody to look after, especially this one. The grandmother is over 65 years. She in Canada, and she has to take care of these 2 children. It's very sad and very hard. And this man, the child was, I think, self-defense, so he don't even get a month in jail. And he outside mining the children. Who taking care of these 2 children? Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. Appreciate your contribution this morning. Let's go to the WhatsApp caller. You're live. Good morning. You're welcome.
Morning.
Morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. You hear me clear?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Go right ahead, please. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I just want to make a point. Now, Grenada, the politics in Grenada is very, very confusing to me. The government, ministers in parliament, they don't swear to King Charles. They swear to the allegiance to the state of Grenada. But we have a Royal Grenada Police Force. We have a Royal Grenadian Police. We have a Governor General. So, to me, that's confusing. And to me, is that a disrespect for the majority of Grenadians. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Folks, we drew for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we certainly be entertaining much more of your calls when we come back. Stay with us, folks. Don't touch it out. Stay with us.
REMEC, Community Partnership Initiative.
Lions All Mass preserves the culture of Grenada. All Mass is basically portrayals of what is happening in our countries on a day-to-day basis. Running events like these require a lot of resources. I just want to take the time to tell Grenec a big thank you from the Lions Club of St. George's for being one of our sponsors in Old Mass over the years.
REMEC, energizing our community.
August 6th, Concept Events, together with Flatlands Parkship and Print, present Pre-Day, Black and Bougie, featuring Telpre, the Jab Boss, and his Grenadian family. We coming through, lot of people coming through. This is Pre-Day, featuring Terra the Governor. I said, we get them job, we go get them job. Muddy, Capital Jab, Boise, I don't give one boy, we don't do it. What's way? Nobody I do them others can't. Lava Man. Water Daddy. Born and so much more. Wednesday, August 6th, the Grenada National Stadium. Gates open at 10 p.m. Showtime 11 p.m. Grenada, get ready. This is Pre-Day. Black and Bougie. Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back, viewers, once again to The Point for today, Wednesday, the 6th day of August, 2025. We have an open line edition of the program for today. Your phone calls are welcome. 435-2041. That's both the direct line and WhatsApp. Let's go back to the phone line. We have another caller. Caller, welcome. Good morning. Welcome back.
Yes, good morning to you, GT. Just a little correction because the caller who made reference to the person found guilty and had to maintain Mr. McIntyre's grandson or something like that, GBN had a correction. GBN said that in error. And last night news, they corrected it. And they said, no, he's not required to maintain the child. He is required to pay an annual fee, which I think is $1,000. I'm not sure, but an annual fee to the what's that? The group they formed?
The Silver McIntyre, of course, the Asher McIntyre Foundation. Sorry.
Right. Yes. He's required to pay that money to the foundation, not as GBN said. GBN misled people and said that he was required to pay, I think, is $1,800 or something monthly to maintain the little boy. That is not true. They corrected it last night.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
I hope I am correct too, because sometimes you think you hear that and it's not really that. But
I understand you, sir. But thanks for of course, sending out that bit of information.
Maybe somebody else who heard it could call and confirm. Yes, but GBN had a correction for that story last night. Right. Okay.
Thank you. 435-2041, 435-2041, 435-2041. We go back to the phone line. We do have another caller. Caller, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, sir.
I wouldn't guess I know that listening is a skill. And from what I've heard now, when people listen, they must be able to analyze, strip what the person says. When I say not as a piece of cloth, analyze, take into consideration every word that the person says. And what you have in your eye, what one has in his idea, determine his experience and his age. Now, when I look at certain information being handed down to us from different sources, I consider myself, I do not understand those information because I'll give you one example. The bank said that they're responsible for your money. They take it and they're responsible for it because you put it there either on fixed deposit or whatever deposit. And yet for all, when somebody or someone, whether internally or externally, stole it, they don't want to, in fact, not steal now. They know we now have a modern word. They call it hack. When they hack it, they know the banks seem to be no longer responsible for it. And yet, for all, you put it there as a security, and they seem to be the person involved. I should think, and I know that they have insurance, most of the banks, or all institutions like these, must have insurance so that the people who have lost or seem to have lost the money should be given back the money. And the bank's supposed to find out who take it, who don't take it, as far as I'm concerned. The banks, or some of the banks, are giving too much problem with the so-called the people that save the money. And they're giving problem with the smaller people more than they're giving problem with the big millionaires. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Have a good morning and have a good day, all right? All right. 435-2041. And here's a comment from someone on the WhatsApp. They say that they heard on the news last evening that e-books for Form 1 and 2, there will be no e-books for Form 1 and 2. And their concern is that some parents have already spent hundreds on books. Surely we should have been advised before. They say that should have been advised before in terms of allowing parents to go out and make that purchase. That's an observation there from someone via the WhatsApp. We do have another caller. Caller, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing today?
Doing good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the point. Right to the point is that the government of the powers that be should take a page from the Bahamas, the Barbados island on the weed, the gasoline weed they can use for manual, and they can use it for the power and energy. And it's already, you have to reinvent the mousetrap. Barbados is already doing it, and they can use it for manual, using the plants, and also process it for using for power, burning for. You
mentioned the weed. Are you talking about the sargassum seaweed? That's what you're referencing to.
Right. Thank you. Have a good day. You understand.
All right, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. 435-2041. 435-2041. That's a number. We're moving down to 28 minutes after the 9 o'clock hour. We go until 10 a.m. this morning. 435-2041. We go back to the phone line. Caller, you are live. Good morning.
Morning, GT. How are you today, sir?
Doing good, sir. What about you?
Okay, fine. GT, what am I going to say now today? With all the traffic we have now, for people parking around corners, they're parking anyway, they don't care. You know how much money the police could make in from that? That money could go in the money they lost from the citizens by investment. They could make it back by doing the right thing, by charging people for parking around corners, parking where they're supposed to park, and also calling on the police to put back bus stops from town to about Morris Bishop Highway, from town to about Bolio, and from town to about St. Paul's, where the traffic is heavy, and get the people to use the bus stops, because some of them are stopping in the middle of the road and just to pick up somebody because they don't care. And if you blow them, they cost you. You understand? So I think the police should be doing those things. Another thing again, it's time for the government to start putting back numbers on buildings, because now these days so much people is ordering online, plus all the hardware are doing delivery, supermarkets are doing delivery, and sometimes when they come to the houses, before they get to the houses, they ask somebody, where is that person? Say to somebody's house before and ask, you know where this person is and where this person are. But if they have numbers on the house, like in the States and so on, they just follow the numbers. Right. Even numbers, odd numbers, and you know directly who to go to. You understand? It's time for we in Grenada start going back to those things. Long time ago, in houses used to be numbers in the 50s and so on. Because I remember where I live in, my house at the number 4. You understand? So when you come, you do directly, you don't have to ask. The last time somebody from Hubbard was bringing some things to me, and they passed my house straight, and I'm calling them, they tell me not what to tell them. They go up all the way up, and when they reach up there, the people tell them, no, it's that house down there. When they come out showing them, well, they say not, that's what they tell me. So they go up in that area. area out there. So it's time for we get things together, get we act together, man. It's time.
All right.
We in the third world, but let's go try to do things. And they didn't St. George's at first. They start saying that they're making people to park right when the tongue all on the car and showing you how to park right because to avoid the problems. Well, the international way and they put the traffic light because international way. Let's do everything now the right way. Okay, Shaggy? I mean, sorry.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate your contribution. 445-2041. You know, I was a bit taken back a couple of days ago. I was looking at the police, the traffic department, having a traffic stop, checking for, license and insurance and so forth. And less than, a couple of feet away, there were folks who were obstructing traffic with, because a particular business is right there. And they were not paying attention to that. They were stopping you for, yes, and they have all rights to do traffic checks, checking for you who's driving on licensed vehicles and who's driving vehicles without insurance, individuals who are driving without having a driver's license. That is important. But just a couple of feet away, there were a particular business where individuals are stopping to go to that particular business and, creating that traffic obstruction. But no attention seemed to be was paid to that, and I know it was visible to them, the police officers would say. Just my little take on that. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Well, thank you very much indeed. Well, I hope what I would say here, I hope it wouldn't be a problem for you, because what I'm saying here is, I am using a cell phone,
Caller, have a great morning, and I appreciate you calling, but you always call with something that is totally off, and if you are put on hold, you stay on hold. You always seem to have a complaint, and sometimes you try to get me to go from 0 to 100, and I'm really not in the mood for that this morning. 435-2041. 435-2041. Let's get you, the lines are open. There you have the WhatsApp 435-2041, and we also have the direct line that you can also use 435-2041. Time check, folks. 24 minutes moving up before the top of the hour. We probably should take a break in this segment, and when we come back, we entertain some more of your calls. Stay with us.
All around the world,
Stumps ready? The biggest party in sports is back. It's Republic Bank CPL 2025. Bowls off August 14th to September 21st. 34 matches, 6 teams, 6 nations. Pure Caribbean cricket frenzy. From big sixes to deadly yorkers, catch every boundary, every wicket, every moment. Live on GBM TV and Classic Radio. This is not just cricket. This is CPL. Sponsored by Republic Bank, Glen and Hub Hubbard's Republic Bank CPL 2025. Don't miss a ball.
Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back, viewers, once again. 435-2041. Lines are open to you, folks. If you, of course, want to make a contribution towards today's program, 435-2041. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Sorry for calling back.
Go right ahead, sir.
Let me tell you this. I'm very much concerned about a lady who was transferred from one situation to another. And she's now advertising for I don't know if she's doing it on her own or if they are paying you all for advertisement. But she's now advertising for a special man that belongs to the government, the ruling party. And I find these things on there should have no merit on the radio station, except that they're paying for it through her. So I think you call it a calling program and share your opinion or whatever you call it. So the person who she's announcing for, I should think, maybe you can tell me that if you wish, is paying for the advertisement. But she had run from one situation to another, to one extreme to the other. Thank you very much. Guess who?
Have a good morning, caller. Have a good morning. 435-2041. Let's go to the WhatsApp caller. Good morning, you're live. Let's hear from you.
Good morning, Mr. GT. I hope
good morning to you, sir.
I came in late on the program.
We have an open line this morning, so of course it's pretty open in terms of the conversation this morning.
Right. And regard to your recent comment you made just a couple minutes ago about traffic problem, obstruction, and folks stopping by a business, I think one of the ways we can help solve that problem is by zoning. And I think if you're going to have a business that by nature of the business, there will be a certain volume of traffic attracted by the business, then you have to make sure that you have enough parking space.
I agree.
So people don't have to rely on parking right next to the street. If you're going to build a business where you're going to expect people to come shop and have a load to carry and so on, and then it's right at the edge of the road, and there's very few or no parking spot, where do you expect people to park to receive their goods and services? So that's all goes back to some extent to zoning. And that's something that I hope folks do something about. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. 435-2041. We go back to the WhatsApp once again. We do have another WhatsApp caller. WhatsApp caller, you're live. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
All right. My concern is the vending side, the roadside vending.
Yes.
I've noticed there's some foreign, they seem to be non-Grenadian. You see, they're selling doubles and all this sort of thing on the side of the road, and even in the same coconut water. I wonder if Ministry of Health is really monitoring the situation, because you don't know where those people prepare those things. You don't know, and everybody just seemed to be patronizing and thing without even concern. So I don't know.
So if I had to tapping on you for once, if I had to chiming on you for one sec, but there's been always folks doing vending on the roadside, not so?
Yeah. But
I mean, you sometimes, have you ever questioned how it was been prepared? If you have ever purchased from anyone before the individual that you see?
No, I don't.
Have you ever questioned that before?
But no, I don't. But you know what I'm saying? There's an increase now. There seem to be non-nationals engaging, selling, engaging roadside.
So you're
vending.
probably saying it's safer if it's a Grenadian that's doing it.
So I wondering if you can just go in a country and just start to do business on the side of the road and so on. I don't know if Ministry of Health is taking note of that, but I kind of concerned.
All right. I understand your concern. I understand your concern, and it's a valid one. I understand your concern. Anything else? Anything else?
Yeah, and concerning the same parking on the road. Now, listen, I do a lot of linemen and so on, but I realized lately, people with businesses, I stop patronize those kind of business. Because when you stop to go to the business place, you're creating an obstruction on the road there, you know? And the people they will sit in the bar or inside there and not even concerned. Well, listen, the traffic is held up and because of me, let us me move my vehicle. No. So for me, I stop patronizing these kind of businesses, you know? And I wish everybody could do the same and let these people realize, hey, you can't just set up business on the side of the road and creating this obstruction. We have too many vehicles in Grenada here, and before you know it, a long line of traffic just there, waiting in the valley. It's very, very visible, you know? Right. And so I think the police need to monitor that thing too, and they have no parking, and yet still the people parking right underneath the sign. And nothing is happening.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
We're overlooking a lot of things, you know.
All right.
And I really think we need to take stock.
Thank you so much. And of course, some hope other folks may think along the same lines as you are thinking along. Folks, there's a comment from someone on the WhatsApp. They're saying, "Good morning, GT. The ex-LIAT workers would like to ask the PM, when is the NDC government giving the workers the money that was owed to them by LIAT? Served Grenada for years." So someone is asking that particular question. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Morning, Jet.
Good morning to you, sir.
Jet, I learned that the government is supposed to have a retreat. When it's starting, if you know.
The government is supposed to be having a retreat, are you saying?
Yes.
I haven't heard that bit of information, sir, so I will not be able to respond to that. I haven't heard about it, no.
Oh, Jetty,
yeah.
Look, the parliament of this country, they passed a law stating that they wouldn't be swearing allegiance to the king. I hear they say the prime minister swear allegiance to the king. Is that legal or not? Could you tell me what's going on about that? If we are all members,
could you repeat? I sort of missed because you sort of a bit of a fumbled in terms of what you were saying. If you could repeat it.
I was asking if the law they pass in Parliament, if it is legal or not, and if all parliamentarians are ready to swear to it, because I hear the Prime Minister swear to it. I don't know if it is legal or not.
Well, it's went through the Parliament, so they have to have some legality about it. I am not, an expert on that to give you as much details as possible as reference. I know they had a couple of hours after it became, gazetted and so forth. I hope I'm saying the right thing. They had at least a couple of hours that all should have be sworn in under the new law, as you would say. So that's as much as I could give you.
Jetty?
Yes, sir.
I learned that the Selnite passport dropped $100 million. What happened to that? How he could drop so low? I mean, in other words, they sell $100 less in passport from last August to this August. Is that possible? Jetty?
You asking me questions that I may not be able to, of course, respond to you via, those questions or give you a response to those questions, sir. So I'm sorry, but I wouldn't be able to respond to questions of those nature for you.
No, I thought that these are money media you didn't know.
I understand where you're coming from, but I don't think in terms of how you're referencing it, I could give you an answer in that particular way. You reference it in terms of passports and stuff like that, but I think it's talk. It was said that there's a shortfall in the total revenue for government collection for the year. I don't think it's specifically for passports only. You understand? So I think you were kind of referencing it wrong.
CBI speaking about.
Okay. Have a good morning, sir.
Same thing, but
435-2041. 435-2041. That's the number. Let's entertain another caller. Let's go to the direct line. Take another caller there. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, GT. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, I heard last night on the news.
Yes.
A news item I just making query about that the 2025 school games, that involve the secondary schools.
Yes.
Will start. I think it's today.
Secondary school games.
I mean, hear you?
Are you saying the secondary school
games? Yeah. They win lotto or something, school games.
Okay.
But sure, that game was last week.
Yeah, wasn't it in St. Vincent?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
But last night news saying it will begin. I think it was either yesterday or today in St. Vincent. The people and them came back already.
Okay.
So I think what GBN, for sports, in the past I used to help GBN get little cricket scores. They need to maybe still find out who could help because it's look a little bit shabby. The thing come and gone, and now we're hearing it as a news item.
Okay.
Okay then, GB.
Thank you. We go back to the WhatsApp caller. Good morning. You're welcome.
Morning, GG.
Good morning, sir.
This law that was enacted relative to the swearing in, there seems to be a big contradiction to me. As much as I don't have a constitution right now, I lost 3 constitutions in the process since holding a constitution. And I meant to buy a new one. But I've been listening to the argument on the radio, especially on GBN, with Mr. Ruggles Ferguson, Dr. Alexis. You hear Rulu, and you hear a good friend of mine who normally argue this kind of a thing. And to me, the people who are arguing against bringing in such a law at this time in the situation are right, or are more right than the argument coming from the 2 lawyers especially. Because you have a situation where the Governor General is still in position. The Governor General represents the king as it stands now. It used to be the queen, heirs and successors. We now have a successor who is the king. And logically speaking, if the Governor General has to do swearing in, or another Governor General has to do swearing in, they represent the king as head of state. We normally traditionally have a throne speech in Parliament. So you have a situation now when the throne speech is due, automatically the Governor General is representing the throne. That has not changed in the Constitution. So there seems to be somewhere a contradiction in the process of the whole thing. And if you listen to it logically, how I put it there, it makes sense to me, and it should make sense to everybody. There is something wrong somewhere that needs rectification, because you still have the queen as the king as head of state, and you have the Governor General who is still representing the king, not Grenada. Pure and simple. Take care, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your contribution also. Folks, we need to take a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we get into the final segment of today's program. We will be right back after the break. Stay with us. It's To The Point Classic Radio, GBN TV.
So it. August 6th, Concept Events, together with Flatlands Park Ship and Print, present Pre-Day, Black and Bougie, featuring Telpre, the Jab Boss, and his Grenadian family. How you move? We coming through. My people coming through. This is Pre-Day, featuring Terra the Governor. I said, we get them job. We go get them job. Muddy. Capital Jab. Boise.
I don't give one boy without the way.
What's way?
Nobody I know them others can't.
Lava Man.
When I think me strong number, all kind of thing I tell me. Mother, tell me who mother.
Water Daddy. Born and so much more.
Decision. Spice must could never be a bad decision.
Wednesday, Wednesday, August 6th, the Grenada National Stadium. Gates open at 10 p.m. Showtime 11 p.m. Grenada, get ready. This is Pre-Day. Black and Bougie.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Once again, it's to the point. We have an open line edition for today, Wednesday. It's the 6th day of August 2025. The lines are open for you, listeners and viewers. If you do have a contribution to make towards today's program, feel free to do so. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
So,
good morning.
Sometimes my heart bleeds because I don't know much, but I know a lot that could propel me in life. Now, I always say, you understand, you interpret. There's two different meanings. Maybe you could interpret right or wrong, but when you understand, that means you strip the what is being said. And you strip it. When I say you strip it, I don't mean it's a cloth, you know. You go into it in depth and you come to a common conclusion or a conclusion within yourself that that's what it meant. And this is the difference between interpretation. Everyone has the right to interpret, depending on the age and experience and the academic qualification plus. And I hate to hear people say they interpret that badly, or it's not the meaning. If you say you interpret, to me, that's your way of thinking of what is being said or what is being written. If you say you understand, well, that in a way understand me. What should I say? In more depth than interpretation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Have a good morning. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. Let's hear from you.
Good morning, GT.
Good morning to you, sir.
And how are you today?
Doing good. Doing good.
Okay. I just wanted to call in to make a brief point as regards to, from my understanding, in regards to the changes in the Constitution, the bill would have passed provincial that there was going to be a referendum that would take place sometime after.
Yes.
Now, so it's not really in law as yet, and I felt that was the move that should be made, and I tell you why. I never gave reasons why, and based on the historical interpretation of the law at the time. Now, my belief is that the framers of the Constitution never wanted the Grenada Parliament to be able to make any changes to the law. If you understand what took place when Grenada became independent, there was a lot of persons who were at odds with Mr. Gary being the person who would have actually gained independence for Grenada. And so if you look at Grenada's constitution as relative to the rest of a lot of the other islands of the Caribbean, their constitution seemed to have been written somewhat different. And it's because they were trying to at least to protect those persons who had the problem with saying that the elected persons in Parliament can go ahead and change the Constitution. So my belief is that the framers never intended that anybody should be able, any Parliament in Grenada should be able to change the law as the other parliaments of the Caribbean, being Dominica, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, can do it for theirs.
Okay.
And that's why ours seem to be a little bit different as opposed to theirs. So just to in regards to the caller that would have made mention before that, going forward, if it was right or wrong, there is no law that is passed as yet, because the Constitution is not changed yet and will come into effect after a referendum is done in that respect to change that.
Oh, Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate your contribution. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, GT.
Good morning to you, sir.
And pleasant morning to your listening audience. Now, GT, there are so many changes, so many things that we need to change about our Constitution. The fact that the changes that is suggested now is so minute. It is so limited. I'm surprised that instead of we having much more people supporting it, they're looking for ways to maybe support the colonialists. Because it is minute, whether the Governor General is still there or not, at least we have started the process. Now, JT, I want you to know that this year I am very happy and satisfied with our soca artists and some of the songs that they are singing. And especially because I spent over 25 years in the hospitality industry. And I find they sing so many songs this year with a culinary overtone to it. It is not fine dining, it's family dining, something, But what I'm impressed with the most, my favorite song, is the one that says "Dung in the Meat." GT, for 4 years I've been dung in the meat. I spent 4 years working in the butcher shop, and I still miss the different freshness that emanates from the shop. But I can tell you, being dung in the meat is a true representation of myself, because after 25 plus years in the industry, I am quite familiar with being dung in the meat.
Thank you, sir.
Have a pleasant day, sir.
Thank you, sir. We do have another caller. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes, GT, the last caller, I don't always agree with him, but the first part, what he says, I totally agree, in the sense that it's a minor thing that we can do, we can take care of it. Now, there is a promise of the referendum to follow that. But your penultimate caller also made a mistake. Well, I wouldn't say misinformation. St. Vincent have the same problem like Grenada. That's why when they did theirs, people agree on almost everything, but there was, I think, two elements in the referendum, and Dr. Alexis, who was a legal personnel on that, could substantiate that. There were two things that the opposition at the time got people to rebel against in that, but generally people had agree. And I think similarly, you might say certain things that happen in our own referendum. There are certain things that people in principle agree, but there were other things that they don't agree. The thing what the guy said about the British never wanted to change the constitution, I don't think that is true. I think what they did, because they was a little bit unwilling to say no to Gary at the time, they decided, okay, they won't clip his wings. So that, he wouldn't be able to do more than what he was doing in terms of whether the abuse of human rights and things at the time, beating up people and that kind of thing. So it was more an individual thing than anything. My thing is, I took those folks so long to be able to identify that aspect in the Constitution that could be changed. The other thing we have to bear in mind also is that one of the flaws, one of the mistakes that was made, and Sitin Rolo have expounded on a lot in the time. We didn't appropriate the Constitution when we got it. It had to be ratified by the Parliament. We didn't do that. So now that there's some little opening, let us do it. I am one of the most anti-colonial, you might say. I don't beat trumpet and so on, but I, an Afrocentric person, we need to do everything that can get away from that. It may not happen in our life, well, maybe in our lifetime, but we need to start. The same attitude was done when we were moving from general certificate in education. People were rebelling and so on. But look, we have CXC now, and they said, no, be normalized. So those resistance would come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you also. Appreciate your call as always. Hey, folks, we're getting set to take a wrap for today. We may be able to entertain just one more call if it comes really quickly. And we take a wrap for today's edition. Call, you're live. Good morning. Yeah, caller via WhatsApp. Good morning.
Is me?
Yes, you're live. Go right ahead, please.
Hello?
Caller, you live? Go right ahead.
Yes. Relative to that referendum, are you there?
Caller, you're live. Go right ahead, please.
Yes. Relative to that referendum, I hear people talking about. I listened to the Parliament today. And the Prime Minister, in the end of things, suggested that the opposition people go to the various villages or communities and discuss the issue. But if you have a fait accompli, the law has already been passed. Well, I don't know where they get that referendum. That's the second person I think I hear talking about a referendum. There's no proposal for any referendum after the law is passed. It passed through the upper house, it passed through the lower house already. They have agreed on it. Now it's for the Governor General to assent to it. Now, if the Governor General was to assent to that law, she's at the same time firing herself from her job, from all appearance, logically speaking. So I don't understand where these people get this talk about referendum relative to that very law. A referendum has to be done before to get the law passed, and then if the Parliament ratify it. Simple. I don't know where they get this logic.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much, and appreciate your contribution also. Hey, folks, that's where we're going to take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. I want to thank all who called and contributed to today's program. We sincerely do appreciate it a whole lot. Join me again for another edition tomorrow here on Classic Radio GBN TV. Until then, have a good one, folks. That's where we say goodbye.